I just wanted to do a quick little video on servicing the clutch on this distributor. These machines are brand new, so I'm not going to be changing parts or anything, or at least I haven't had to on any of the other 6 lanes that I've done this first maintenance on. So take her apart, and that's just where I set those out of habit, and then everything else can come off there together. Oh, I say it can. And here we are. There we go. It's a little harder to do this with one hand than I was anticipating, but here we are. So these are our basic parts here. We've got, starting from the outside, we've got our tension spring, and then the nut and this special thin washer that goes behind it. Then this worm gear, you can see it says out. This worm gear is directional. If you put it in there backwards, you tear it up. We got this outer clutch plate, the black one, with the slots where the spring goes through. This is the friction disc. This is the AMF version. There's a lot of other manufacturers out there that are making them. Then behind that worm gear, we'd have another one of these thin special washers. Then this gold plate is the inner plate with this blade on it that meshes up with this stop blade on the distributor that actually stops the clutch from turning. And then we've got the pinion gear that has one machine tooth right there that meshes up with this bump on the index cam. And this is the sleeve that goes in the pinion. This sleeve is a little bit longer than the pinion itself, so that you're not putting all that clamping pressure on the pinion gear. And then behind the pinion gear is the thrust washer. You can see it's D-bore, and this shaft is D-bore up to about here. That's so that that pinion gear is aligned with the teeth on the index cam. So everything on here, everything in the clutch should be dry and clean. No oil, no lube, no dirt. So I'm just taking a dry rag right now. Probably at the next 25,000 milestone, I'll be cleaning these parts with maybe a simple green, just a water-based cleaner. We've still got some construction dust floating around in the air, so this disc is pretty dirty. But this is the face here that's important. This is the face that the friction disc is up against. So this is the face that needs to be especially clean and dry. And then with this inner clutch plate, I'm gonna wipe all the grease off. And you can see the wear marks where the friction disc meshes up here. So that's gonna be the part of the disc here that I kind of focus on trying to clean up. So far, with all of these, I've been finding a little bit of oil in them, and I think it's just from over-oiling the pinion, and some of that oil's migrated down the shaft and into the clutch. because the shafts have also been fairly oily. You can see it real bad reflecting off of that worm gear. But just clean and dry, nothing special. This is the pinion sleeve, so I'm going to wipe off all the oil that's on it now, and then come back with a manufacturer says 10 weight oil. I've always used a mix of 30 weight oil and Marvel Mystery oil, and that works pretty good, and it smells like wintergreen, so that's a bonus. Then with this pinion, I like to run my rag through the middle and clean the oil out of the inside. And then wipe off the outside the same way, get all that excess oil off. And then go ahead and slide that pinion back in there. Now with the thrust washer, you can tell which side engages up against the face of the pinion, because it's got this wear on it. As that gets worse, this surface will get kind of rough, and I'll usually take some sandpaper and just run it around on some sandpaper and clean up the edge. But for now, it's fine, so I'm gonna use the same oil. Just do a light film around this face on the thrust washer. And she's ready to go back together, so we'll see if I can put it back together with one hand. There's the thrust washer, and the shaft is oily, so we're gonna wipe her down. Then we got our pinion, and we're gonna look around and make sure that our machined tooth, there it is, meshes with the divot on the index cam right there. And it does. So next is the gold plate. The shape, you can see how the little tabs on the pinion fit into these holes on the clutch plate, and that's why the timing marks are important, so that you have that clutch stopping at the right place every time it goes around. While we're here, I'm gonna get the grease off of my stop blade, and I'm gonna knock that clutch plate back off. And I'm gonna mess up my pinion timing. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I only work 2 days a week, so I'm pulling an all-nighter tonight to get all my 25,000 frame maintenance done. And I'm exhausted. I worked this morning. I went home and took a little nap and then came back. So there's homeboy there. And we got worm gear, and where it says out, ooh, hold your horses there, cowboy. Special washer. There we go. And then where it says out, it's gonna go out. Got a friction disc, and this is in my hand. So we're gonna, this dude turns to the left to tighten up, but we're not gonna tighten it up to the point where the worm comes off and disengages from the back of this rear clutch plate. So it's all put together pretty loose right now, nothing's tightened down. Then I'm gonna come back with the washer and my nut here on the end, and this clutch plate down. Or you can just let the spring do it as you put the spring on. But it's got this little, the spring's got this bend that goes through these slots. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a good angle on this. But there it goes, and it's all the way through and out. Actually too far, because I was trying to watch what I was doing. So now when we set clutch tension, we're looking for 3/4 turn to a full turn. So I'm gonna shoot to put this part sticking out about right here. Let's see how I do with my hand. Maybe a little more than that. Shit. Good enough for me, son. Then we'll... Before we do that, we need to put the grease back on that sumbitch. So, it's not a lot of grease. Just a little bit. What's the saying? A dab will do ya, a gall will screw ya. Here we go. I'll put a little bit on there, a little bit on there, a little bit on there. And she's gonna go. Doesn't take much. Most of what I got on my fingers stuck to my fingers anyway. Oh, and I got a little extra right there. So. Yeah, we can give her a shot, huh? So the deal with setting the clutch tension is to find that medium between the point that there's so much tension that the distributor and the stop link doesn't want to come back up because it's just driving so hard, and so little tension that the distributor doesn't have enough friction to drive over here. And especially the point that I'm going to watch for is from the 6 to the 10 right here, and that looks pretty good. So I think she's set. I'm going to put her on continuous cycle and let her go. Thanks for watching.